Liverpool fan in Japan.
Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man side. 2 videos in one night, oh my goodness gracious me. It had to be done because Martin Zubimendi, the hot topic, right? Paul Joyce has literally just tweeted that Liverpool FC are considering Martin Zubimendi. However, when Paul Joyce tweets, it's usually a done deal. Here we go. Forget Oni Bomber, forget Fabricio Romano. Joyce, baby, Joyce knows more than our transfer committee. When he tweets, it's almost gospel. But he did say considering, which leaves it open to interpretation that if indeed something goes wrong, i.e. he doesn't want to leave Real Sociedad, we've heard that before, he rejected Arsenal, then he's got himself covered, right? However, get in, Zubimendi. If he is our number 6, he would complement Wataru Manmanton Endo really well because he is the deep-lying tempo registrar playmaker of your dreams. In fact, he's the best player I've ever seen. No, I'm only kidding. I don't know how high his ceiling is, to be honest, but I think he can grow into that role, and we do need a deep-lying playmaker who play the ball around, so I'm all for it. Reasonable fee. Let's bring in Takefusa Kubo as well. 2 for 1. Why not? But you know, well, there is euphoria in the fan base around this piece of gossip, right? Paul Joyce tweeting usually means it's quite close to being a done deal, you know, leaked internally. He is the mouthpiece of Liverpool FC. Good connections to Liverpool and Everton as well. But mixed feelings for a few reasons, because the word considering means it's not done and it's not advanced, or it's not in the final stages. Has he made up his mind, right? He's rejected Arsenal. He had feelers in from Barcelona as well, who wanted him to replace Sergio Busquets, but I don't think they've got the monies or the levers currently to get him in place. A lot of top teams would be in for him as well. And I think now that it's been made available to the public that he's a transfer target for Liverpool, maybe Arsenal go back in for him. So you'd like to think that the intermediaries and the agents have discussed things with Richard Hughes, in particular because he shares an agent with Andoni Iraola, who obviously has good connections with Richard Hughes as well. You'd like to think that he's kind of given a provisional verbal agreement that he would be keen to join Liverpool. Otherwise, this coming public can't be doing anyone any good. And there are kind of vibes of the kind of Caicedo deal, except for the fact that Liverpool were late entrance into that deal and he'd been talking with Chelsea for months. So you'd have to think that behind the scenes that Liverpool would have progressed far enough, otherwise they'd shown competence. And we have this framework in place, Richard Hughes, et al. And everyone in place to get Arne Slot the tools he needs for this particular season coming up. And as Brendan Rodgers likes to say, Martin Zubimendi is a technician, a clear technician, very composed, very good technical attributes, very skillful sinking the base of the midfield, but he can progress it and run with the ball as well. He's got a deceptive cut inside, the Soboslai cut inside, a little turn of pace to try to get in and around the player. He hasn't got a finesse of a Thiago to do that roulette turn on the side, but he can take a man on and use his physicality to hold the player off. And he's almost the ideal player to bop the ball either side when Trent Alexander-Arnold, Conor Bradley, Robertson, Tsimikas go bombing forward as well into that open space, the Gravenberch ball for them to come onto. Now, it's been well noted that Zubimendi's passing range is very good. It's very good, very efficient, and he's very technical as well. He can put back spin on it, he can put loft on it, he can put long dip on it as well. But he hasn't got the lengthy passing range of, say, a Xabi Alonso, at least the accuracy of that extent. But I'd say he's very much like a Busquets, a Rodri, a Thiago Alcantara in terms of being able to play multiple different types of passes into the front line to change the point of attack. And the really good thing about Zubimendi as well is that he's a selfless player as well. He's not about the glory ball, he's about cause and effects. Every kind of play he does is for a specific purpose. Now, Arne Slot doesn't particularly play a long ball that often. He does go from back to front in a kind of box, so you'd expect Zubimendi to be part of that passing triangle in the middle to try to work the space to get that eventual through ball or line ball clear of the opposition press. But of course, you want a hybrid kind of approach in the team, and Arne Slot would be a little bit foolish not to take Trent Alexander-Arnold's quality ball delivery as well as Virgil van Dijk's delivery from deep into the right wing position and Martin Zubimendi to break through the lines with advanced passing as well. I'd expect Martin Zubimendi to try to attempt some of the Thiago Alcantara straight daisy cut a long ball into the Mane against Everton that we saw, which was pinged across for Henderson to rightfully score a goal that should have been given as the winner, that little left-footed curler past Pickford, that little T-Rex, but it's yet to be seen. Now, Martin Zubimendi, I don't think has the highest ceiling of any player because he has well-noted strengths and his mentality, composure and calmness is very good. But I don't think he's got the technical attributes of a Rodri, for example, to really come up clutch with the long-range goals and exquisite silky pieces of footwork to escape the man marker and escape his way out of trouble like a Kakare from the previous video. But just because he doesn't have that ceiling of a Rodri doesn't mean he can't be a bloody fantastic player, because he looks really, really good. He would add a lot to our midfield, really, as the composer at the base of the midfield, alongside a Gravenberch or Wataru Endo to shield Zubimendi, to give him the ball, to give him the freedom to press. Basically, Endo would play the Gennaro Gattuso role as a roaming hound to hound the opposition, to press up high and nullify the opposition's playmakers in those prominent positions, and allow Zubimendi the space to initiate our own counter-pressing efforts on the offensive transition once we've won the ball. Because with the counter-pressing up high, and when you win the ball deep straight away, you're in and amongst their shape, so you can dart into those positions, which we can hopefully have the ball players to find them, to go from back to front and the shortest route to goal. And Arne Slot doesn't always transition the ball across the other sides, but he does find ways to work the players into position to get lots of bodies forward, and Zubimendi could be the type of player to really find that extra man making that deep run forward, which means a Szoboszlai could really benefit from the Martin Zubimendi in our system as well. And there's only really been good things said about Martin Zubimendi from Xavi Alonso, from Xavi Hernandez, from Busquets, and obviously our Basque hero Xavi Alonso from Real Sociedad as well, my favourite Liverpool player in the midfield. Oh my goodness, it's happening again. He's going to bring a touch of class to our midfield in that deep position, which will allow McAllister to roam further forward, allow Gravenberch the freedom to roam forward in between the lines as well. And I think this being linked with Tyler Morton being sold, hopefully there's a sell-on fee or a buyback fee as well, because Tyler Morton really could become something. But I think it's probably the right move, because Zubimendi has been playing senior level in La Liga for many a season and established himself as a full international, coming on in place of Rodri in Euro 2024, and they didn't miss a step. In fact, they might have even played slightly better. That's taboo to say. Rodri looked a little bit jaded, even though he's effective, but Zubimendi is a tidy, classy player that would really add something different. We need a touch of class at the base. How long has it been since we had that proper Spanish maestro in the base? Obviously, Iago Aspas not really cutting it at Liverpool, showed his worth at Celta Vigo. We had Luis Alberto at Liverpool as well. Now, he really lit it up at Lazio as a proper classy player, an third attacking midfield, playmaking maestro. We really should have given him a chance. Brendan Rodgers never really gave a chance to Iago Aspas, and Luis Alberto is probably a committee signing. He should have done. They're technicians and they could have really thrived in the Premier League. A release clause of 60 million euros, which is about 51.5 million pounds, has to be paid up front, right? Unless you can agree payment terms, unless you want to pay more and pay in installments, unless Real Sociedad agree to something, then it's going to be paid up front. I don't know whether Liverpool need to pull their levers, pull a loan, or whether we have it banked. Obviously, we tried for Caicedo in the previous transfer window as well. I'm sure we have the funds for the right player. If he is the right player, Richard Hughes should have done his homework. Arne Slot should have put the feelers out to let Zubimendi know his type of role in this Liverpool squad. And Zubimendi, not having been convinced by Arsenal, really would need to be convinced before Liverpool obviously formally put in the offer to make sure that he can, start the formalities, a medical, agree agents' fees, agree transactions, agree contract, that kind of thing as well. Of course, he'd pass a medical. He looks fit as horses, right? But yeah, can he adjust to the Premier League, the pace of the Premier League? The number 6 role, traditionally, no player has gone straight into that role starting from the off. You need a full preseason. You need to build rapport and chemistry with your teammates. Fabinho didn't start for Jurgen Klopp. Wataru Endo didn't start for Jurgen Klopp. Rodri did not start for Manchester City. Fernandinho started. Fernando, coming in from Porto, did not start for Manchester City. Fernandinho did, right? Even Nigel de Jong didn't start straight away. Vincent Kompany brought in as defensive midfielder, couldn't hack it there, so he's brought back to centre back. Obviously, he's shot at centre back as well. So, defensive midfield is not the easiest place to come in at the start of a season until you get to know your teammates, get to know the movement around you, the natural ball tendencies, and where you need to bop the ball off without looking. You need eyes on the back of your head and a 360 peripheral vision, a holistic view of the match. But saying that, if we can convince Zubimendi, if it's been leaked because the negotiations are advanced and he's given the go-ahead, the verbal go-ahead, then that's got to be a feel-good feeling, right? He would be a statement signing, a really, really good statement signing, especially because look at the caliber of clubs that are interested in him. Arsenal and Barcelona, right? Basically, the top of world football. And the fact that he isn't going to one of those, and the fact that he may potentially be going to Liverpool, puts us back on that perch as a serious contender. And if we are selling Tyler Morton, we don't need to sell Wataru Endo, because then we have two options in the base of midfield in the absence of Tyler Morton, letting Maka go up front, and Bajcetic can obviously fill in as well when needed. So everything to me makes sense about this transfer, but it's a niggling doubt that until we see him doing the lean in the Liverpool shirt, and the fact that he needs to be convinced to join, whereas he rejected Arsenal, gets people excited a bit too much. And obviously he'd need time to find his feet. He'd need to get used to Arne Slot's tactics. He'd need to embed his own quality and build relationships with the teammates and the partners in midfield, because Arne Slot plays with twos laterally. Yeah, very exciting. I think this is probably the standout name amongst the picks of defensive midfielders, especially because he's more of a known quantity as well. Well, he just won Euro 2024 as a player who saw the final whistle, right? It'd be a really, really good statement signing. Hopefully it gets done, but I wouldn't put too much pressure on him and too much expectation on him, because obviously he will need time to settle. The league is very, very competitive. He might not be the only signing of the summer, and hey, it'd be a doorway establishing relations with Real Sociedad. Again, Takefusa Kubo Takefusa, on your way, son. Come over, Mo Salah back up. Why not? 2 for 1. I'm not going to spend too much longer on the tactics board. Really need to get some sleep, get some Lemsip in me or something. Still recovering from the COVID cough. But Zubimendi actually would be really, really good in the base of the midfield. Just for this example, I'm going to put him alongside McAllister and Harvey Elliott in this role, right? Because this is now a technician's midfield, a technician's dream. Anyone can get the ball. In fact, Zubimendi is probably stronger than Maka with his back to goal. He can bop it off. So as the ball comes into Van Dijk, into Zubimendi, off to Robertson, Elliott goes into the pocket here, which allows Zubimendi to go forward. Maka go into the half space, Zubimendi across again. What you really want to do is transition Zubimendi up further forward, because his through ball is exquisite. He can play that deadly ball. Darwin Núñez in there and smashing it against Newcastle twice. But saying that, it doesn't have to be that through ball. It can be the ball over the top, in and behind for a Gakpo or Lucho Diaz to get in, to whip back into a Robertson to cross it in. And Robertson's done a runner. For Robertson to whip it in for Darwin Núñez. Or Diogo Jota, who's super efficient and deadly in the air as well, to smash it in. Zubimendi has a great composed passing range, and really is Thiago-esque, Rodri-esque, Busquets-esque, where he finds the right angle, the vision, the touch out of his feet to get the ball into the prominent areas. Mo Salah added to this little triangle here. Maka, Zubimendi, Elliott and Mo Salah. This quartet right here, you'd fancy any of them in the 10 position, in the Mazzala position, in the half space positions. Thread a ball through for Diogo Jota, Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, Lucho Diaz. Wow, we would become a super technical team and total football Dutch philosophy team, because Zubimendi, Maka, you could substitute Elliott for Soboslai. Gravenberch could slot in for Maka, could slot in for Harvey Elliott. Fabio Carvalho would have a place as a silky playmaking left wide forward that comes inside as well. It would be really exciting. And especially because I'd expect Zubimendi to play a lot of the weaving balls in and out of our defence. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to nickname him Zubi just for short. Zuba. And Maka. And for this representative example, I'll actually put our ball players in here. Now what you'll see when we play out from the back, right, it'll be Alisson Becker, for example, to Virgil van Dijk. If Virgil van Dijk gets the ball in and around this position, right, you have this kind of shape here. Trying to break the lines. You have your square, as I mentioned, right? You got your cube here and not in the further forward position. Now the two options you have is that Zubimendi will have peripheral vision and he'll know the press is coming on him. So if the ball gets played into him, he can bop it off to a Robertson, where you progress the ball down the wing and you expect your box to come back in into Zubimendi. And you play from there. If he can wiggle his way out danger, or play it back to Maka, who now has vision of the forward field. He can play it over the top to a Salah, or through the lines to an 8, or over to the left hand side. But that is just one variation, because if the ball to Robertson is not on, what you see is Van Dijk into Zubimendi, Zubimendi into Kwanzaa. The natural ball is out to Trent, but he could play it into Maka, who squares it back to Zubimendi, now looking forward. And now we're on the attack, looking forwards, looking to get into this space, this space, this space, and this space as well. Zubimendi is a kind of player who knits everything together. A Rodri, a Busquets, a dominator in midfield, a controller, a tempo maestro. He's got the passing range, the calmness, composure. The only thing is, I hope he's composed enough to make the great decision to leave the Basque country, Real Sociedad, and land in Merseyside, River Mersey. Go shopping with the lads. Come on, Spanish flair. Gotta love it. Yeah, I'd really, really enjoy Zubimendi in this lineup. Hope you guys found it useful. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash a like. Helps this video get seen. Until next time, Miyazaki man, Ichiban. I'm going to get some sleep. Still recovering. But I'll sleep with a smile on my face. Irishi. Jane means ciao.